Some people say they want to change. They read the books, they watch the videos, they talk about growth, and yet, years later, their life looks the exact same. But why? Welcome back to The Reflective Soul, a channel about personal evolution through awareness. Today, we're talking about why some people never change. We live in a time when almost anything can be learned from the comfort of home. Tools for self-understanding are everywhere. Books, videos, therapy, coaching. Guidance is easier to access than ever before. So, if the information and help are available, why doesn't change follow? Most of the time, it's not because people don't know what to do. They do. It's because insight without action is passive. Knowledge alone does not create change. You can know your patterns aren't healthy and still repeat them. You can recognize your triggers and still let them control you. It's the application of insight, using that knowledge in daily life that challenges you to grow. Understanding yourself feels productive. It feels like change, but it's not. It's merely the impetus. Insight alone doesn't require examination or sacrifice. Real change necessitates letting go of familiarity. You have to be willing to leave your comfort zone, to take a leap of faith and trust that the net will appear. But that can be scary. It requires effort without certainty of a reward. If the same kind of situations, people, behaviors, or thoughts are destabilizing you, that isn't bad luck. That's conditioning. And conditioning only dissolves when it's examined without defense. Most people don't resist change because they can't see their patterns. They resist change because it requires them to take responsibility. You have to examine what isn't working and why. You have to be willing to experiment and try new ways of responding and interacting with the world. It takes consistent effort over time, and that's the part that people don't like. Staying the same is simply easier. At times, it even feels like it serves you because it protects your pride, your identity, and it protects you from vulnerability. Change feels like loss because it is. You lose your familiar reactions, you lose the narrative you rehearsed, and you lose the version of yourself that felt known, even if that version was limiting. Growth is uncomfortable in a very specific way. It makes you uncertain. It removes your excuses, and it forces you to learn to respond differently when your nervous system wants to react in the same way it always did. This is why few actually pursue change long enough for something new to form. Not because they're incapable, but because change requires effort, time, and being able to tolerate the collapse of who they've been, all while sustaining the uncertainty of who they're becoming. If you say you want to change, I encourage you to ask yourself this. What would I have to give up in order to actually evolve? Because if you're not willing to let go of your old identity and make time to gain clarity on your truer self, then you're probably not ready to change. But here's something important I want you to understand. It is far better to intentionally choose to stay the same after honestly evaluating your status quo than it is to say you want growth and then do nothing about it. If you reflect on what you must walk away from and decide, I understand the cost and I'm not ready to pay it, then that is still a form of progress. It is not transformation, but at least you are no longer lying to yourself. That's choosing your stance from a place of awareness. And that chosen stance, even if it maintains the status quo, is fundamentally different from living on default. Default is a passive state of thoughtless momentum. In contrast, making a conscious choice means taking active ownership of your life. By choosing intentionally, you interrupt the automatic patterns, even if you don't change anything externally yet. Your actions may look the same on the outside, but you begin to shift internally as you become more aware. Growth is powerful, and so is conscious choice. Awareness is the moment change becomes possible, even before your behavior catches up. If this resonates with you, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Are you ready for change? And I'd like to encourage you to subscribe if you'd like to keep learning practical ways to reconnect with who you really are. And until next time, continue to discover, align, and grow. And thanks for being here.